Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coast News. And as always, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's just get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Drayton Manor have confirmed that Apocalypse will close forever on the 30th of October this year. And obviously this is all news that we all saw coming over this past year actually. Because if you know what I'm talking about, basically Apocalypse is a intermin drop tower located at Drayton Manor theme park in Staffordshire, England. And it is actually a drop tower that has two different experiences. It's a drop tower where you can experience it sitting down as well as standing up, making it very unique. It opened in the year 2000 and it's been operating for 22 years. And Drayton Manor revealed, actually, I think it was last year or maybe before then, that they revealed plans to sell Apocalypse to another theme park. Now this all started last year, and this is where it all kind of kicked off. And earlier this year, they confirmed that this was its final season ever. And I think yesterday or the day before, they officially announced on their social media that Apocalypse will close forever on the 30th of October. Which is obviously very saddening news for fans of the ride. It's one of the most popular rides at Drayton Manor. It's probably one of the only remaining massive thrill rides. The only ones that they have remaining, I believe, are Maelstrom, Shockwave and Apocalypse. Obviously, Drayton Manor is mainly sort of a family park. It's not actually far from Alton Towers. Obviously, whereas Alton Towers caters for everyone, Drayton Manor main target audience is families because they've got family attractions like Thomas Land and Vikings and the Adventure Cove, which opened last year. So it's mainly a sort of a family-oriented theme park. Obviously, with a few thrill rides with like Maelstrom and Shockwave. But obviously, Apocalypse will be closing at the end of this month on the 30th of October. This is very sad news for fans of the ride. However, Drayton Manor have said that they're going to give it a proper send-off, and you can experience what they label as the zombie apocalypse, because this is during Halloween, where you get to experience the ride in complete darkness at night. Alright, so that sounds absolutely brilliant, to experience the 180-foot tall drop tower at night in the pitch black. Imagine if they made it so that they blindfolded you on the ride. You know, like how Fantasy Island, for Fear Island this year, they're doing Millennium blindfolded. You can pay to ride their Millennium roller coaster blindfolded. Imagine if Drayton Manor did something like that, where you could pay to experience Apocalypse blindfolded, or maybe not even pay to have the option to experience it blindfolded. That would actually be really cool. Obviously, you'll get to experience the attraction in darkness, which I don't think they've ever done before, because I don't think Drayton Manor have ever done Halloween before. So obviously, this will be the first time they're open that late. Although, other than fireworks, obviously, because I'm pretty sure I've done fireworks before, but those are obviously all at late at night, and I'm pretty sure the fireworks take place, meaning that when they happen, the rides are closed. So I don't think anyone's really ever really been able to experience any of the Drayton Manor rides in the dark. Obviously, this year will be different because they've got Halloween on, and they're giving you an option to experience rides in the dark, which are one of the main traits of Halloween events. Experience the rides at night in the dark, and it's obviously amazing as long as they've got scare attractions on. And considering that this is the final year of Apocalypse, this will be no different. They're even rebranding it as the Zombie Apocalypse. And when I first read that, literally when I was reading it, and it mentioned Zombie Apocalypse, I thought they were going to make it so that you could have, if you're like a single rider, you could experience the attraction with a zombie sat next to you. That would actually be really cool. Obviously, Thorpe Park did something similar with The Walking Dead, the ride, back when that first opened. If you were a single rider, they would make it so that a zombie sat next to you. I was thinking they might do something like that. I mean, that would be cool if they did, but a ride in the dark on the massive drop tower isn't bad either. It's a really cool attraction, and it's sad to see it go. And obviously, Drayton Manor have announced they're removing it for future developments. I'm predicting that could this be an expansion for the Vikings area, because it's quite close to that area. It's literally probably just right next door to it, so that space could be used for a new attraction in the Vikings lands. That would actually be really cool. But obviously, it's a classic ride. I'm pretty sure they're selling it to another park, so if it does get relocated, let's see where it goes from here. But it's really sad to be seeing that this attraction is being removed from Drayton Manor. and let's hope for future developments. Let's hope that it's amazing. In other news today, Alton Towers Scarefest has officially started for this year. And obviously this is one of the most wonderful times of the year for enthusiasts and for theme parks. Because it's the Halloween season, that's when everything is absolutely incredible. Obviously for Alton Towers Scarefest, they're no different. You've got Rise in the Dark, which is brilliant. And you've got the scare experiences and the scare attractions. Obviously this year is no different. The main lineup of Scarefest this year, they've got 5 main attractions. They've got Altonville Mine Tours, they've got 3 scare mazes. Altonville Mine Tours, Darkest Depths and the Attic. And also they've got Trick or Treat Town, which is like a family-friendly walkthrough attraction. And new for this year is a brand new audio experience created by Darkfield called The Invitation. Obviously the event has only just started today, so I have no idea what happened to it, but the rumours are that you lie in a coffin with headphones on in complete darkness. And because it's being built by Darkfield, not only is the audio going to be ultra immersive, like 360-degree audio, we can hear it from all angles, which is really cool, but also they would probably add loads and loads of different immersive special effects in the attraction. Plus, you're in a coffin in a confined space, in complete darkness. That is honestly so cool. It's not a traditional scare maze. It's more of a. It's all Darkfield's attractions are merely built within shipping containers, and this one's no different. This one's built in. I would say it's one shipping. I think it's built in multiple shipping containers. I'm not sure, but obviously Thorpe Park have got the terminal, which is obviously another Merlin park that have got a new Darkfield attraction for this year, and weirdly that attraction has not really gotten any good reviews. Apparently people say it's the worst Darkfield attraction. It's very odd to hear because Darkfield apparently do normally absolutely spot on with their experiences. So they've got Flight, which obviously simulates a flight crash. They've got Seance, which obviously it simulates you and another group of people performing a seance around a table, which is really cool. They've got Coma. The names of these Darkfield attractions are quite self-explanatory. With Coma, you literally lie down in a bed simulating a coma, and we've got Uology, which I have no idea what that one's about, but it looks really cool. And weird thing is the terminal, it's obviously supposed to be you sat in a cryopod, obviously with headphones on, in a spaceship travelling to a distant galaxy, but aliens hijack the spaceship that you're on, but apparently it's not even that good. So that's people worrying about the invitation at Alton Towers. Although I do have faith in Alton Towers because with the terminal, there's one thing, there's not loads of theming in or out of the attraction. There's no really any theming out on the exterior of the attraction, and apparently inside the actual shipping containers themselves, there's not really loads of standout theming. But with the invitation, we've already noticed a graveyard being built outside of the attraction, and other theming in like the queue line and potentially within the attraction itself. So obviously, I have lots of faith in Darkfield and Alton Towers with the invitation. I'm hoping that the terminal is probably the only time Darkfields didn't really get it right. And if the terminal does return to Friday nights next year, let's hope that they improve the attraction and have a lot more special effects, because apparently there aren't loads of other special effects in the terminal apart from the audio in the headphones. With the invitation though, I'm hoping it'll be different. Because majority of other Darkfield attractions are spectacular. Apparently, from people that reviews from people who've been in it says that it's like nothing else you've ever seen. Apart from the terminal, which seems to have gone not really good reviews. But let's just pray that the invitation is good, because Darkfield can create something spectacular when they are given the right amount of money to build. And obviously, with Alton Towers being the UK's biggest theme park, that means that they probably have a lot more money to spend on their attractions, especially since they only have mainly this sort of scare mazes during Scarefest, meaning that they don't really have to spend as much money because they only build scare mazes, rather than Thorpe Park that build scare zones and shows and scare experiences, and as well as the mazes. But I just pray that the invitation is good. It looks like it's going to be really cool. It's obviously... The rumour is you're lying down in a coffin in complete darkness. That itself is terrifying. So let's just hope that the invitation is going to be brilliant, and I cannot wait to experience it next week at Alton Towers Scarefest. Also in the news today, and this is kind of some sad news, also from Alton Towers, they have confirmed on their social medias that Enterprise is no longer at the resort, meaning that it's pretty much confirmed that the attraction has been removed. And we kind of all saw this coming right from day one of this season, because Enterprise has not operated at all this season, which is very weird because it was perfectly fine last year, but now it's just been it's been half demolished basically. The attraction has been sitting there, all the gondolas have been removed, and it's just kind of just rotting away in X sector, abandoned kind of. And obviously within the past few weeks, the actual gondolas for the attraction were spotted in a backstage area near Jewel, and the rumour is those gondolas are going to Thorpe Park as spare parts for Zodiac, which is also another Huss Enterprise attraction. And obviously, someone asked on one of their park's social medias whether the attraction will be returning. Alton Towers said this attraction is no longer at the resort, meaning that it's confirming it's never going to reopen. And this is really sad to hear, because I actually went on Enterprise last year and it was a brilliant ride. It is so much fun. It's not like anything else that they've done. It's a very unique flat ride. And obviously, because they've removed Enterprise, the majority of Alton Towers' main standout permanent flat rides have been removed, apart from the Blaze. Obviously, they've got the Retro Squad, but those are only funfair rides. They're not meant to be permanent attractions. They keep bringing them back every sort of year. They first introduced them last year with Funk and Fly Mixtape and Roller Disco. This year they brought Funk and Fly and Roller Disco back and introduced Spin Jam in the site of where Mixtape it was last season in X Sector. But those are all well and good, but they're only funfair rides. They're not meant to be permanent attractions. So apart from them, Alton Towers doesn't really have any major permanent flat rides anymore. Ever since Enterprise got removed, the only one they've got is Blaze, which is a pirate ship ride in Forbidden Valley. That's the only massive permanent flat ride they've got left. So Alton Towers, I really do think, need to invest in some more flat rides. Obviously, they've got the upcoming Project Horizon, which, if approved, will be a new attraction. But I don't think that's going to be a flat ride, because that's quite a big building to house a flat ride. I'm thinking it might be like a flying theatre style attraction, because it looks like it could have potential space, but that's the only attraction really that's being planned. The only major attraction that's being planned at the park right now. So there's not really any future on the flat rides of Alton Towers. Let's just hope that other than Project Horizon, they've got some plans for flat rides in the near future, because Enterprise is gone. And finally in the news today, I'm going to end it on a more happy tone, because the last one was quite sad news. The Runnymede Borough Council have approved the construction of Project Exodus at Thorpe Park. And this is absolutely unbelievable news. If you were to tell me that the ride had got approved a few months ago, I never thought it would happen, because the ride, ever since June, has kind of been in a bit of a weird state, because ever since the Environmental Agency objected to the attraction, saying that it poses a flood risk, it's just kind of been in limbo. But within the last few weeks, it's been looking really good. It all started with the local council actually supporting the attraction and Natural England withdrawing their objection. However, and this is still current now, even though the Runnymede Borough Council have approved the ride's construction, the Environmental Agency still holds their objections to the attraction. Thankfully though, the Secretary of State is going to attempt to override this objection from the Environmental Agency. So the ride has pretty much been approved. And obviously this is absolutely fantastic news for the park. It's one of the most historic days in the park's history, and that's not an over-exaggeration, because the approval of the UK's tallest roller coaster is quite big. Obviously, this ride has pretty much been fully approved. We should see vertical construction within the next few months. Well, not vertical construction, but they're not going to start construction like immediately, because obviously in the site, Creek Massacre is still there, terrorising people with chainsaws for Fright Nights. So until Fright Nights is ended, they can't really start construction there, because it's still got a scare maze. When that does happen, when the park closes for the season, they can start land clearing, because that area is still there. The only thing that's been removed from the Old Town area of the park are the rides. The rest of it's still there. The Curly Fries stand is still there, and Creek Freak Massacre is still there. But all the flat rides, Rocky Express, I'm pretty sure has also been removed now. And obviously obviously when Friday Nights ends, the park closes for the season. They can start land clearing, getting rid of everything in that area. So it's going to be really sad to see Creek Freak Massacre go. This is its final season, but I think I'd rather have the UK's tallest roller coaster than a scare maze that only opens for 1 month a year. Although they could bring back Creek Freak Massacre, build it on the former site of Slammer, that would be brilliant, but I don't think that's going to happen. But obviously, other than that, Project Exodus has been approved, and it's despite the problems they had a few months ago, it does seem like it's still on track for a March 2024 opening. And when it opens, it's going to be the UK's tallest roller coaster at 236 feet tall, and I cannot wait for this beast of an attraction to open to the public for the first time. So yeah, that is it for this week's episode of Coaster News. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you'd like to see you in the next video. Bye!